My name is Adrian Little. I found out about ProAutoSports when I was running with a different race organization as a just doing track days, and I found out that there was more than one organization to run with, and I was obsessed quickly with being on the track, so I started running with these guys. I started. I've been doing this since 2008. I got a M3, and part of the package deal was that it provided a track day, and we ran at the old PIR road course. So that's how I got started, and eventually I moved to Corvettes, and eventually to a dedicated race car. Well, what I do is I run race group. Occasionally, I will run which race group is wheel to wheel racing. There's also hot laps, which I occasionally do, which is simply timed fastest lap. In order to get there, you've got to go through the progression where you're a student and you have instructors teaching you, and then you move up to through about 4 different series before you can try out for your race license. I started as a student back with them in 2009. Eventually got out of street group, was an instructor myself, and then went to race car. What I did for the car to get it ready for this event was a complete fluid change, oil, transmission fluid, differential fluid. I had to do some body repair work. There was a fuel line that had to be replaced that required cutting the floor of the car, and then I put a wing back on the car and did some aerodynamic experiments. These events are the reason I go to work and get up in the morning. It's absolutely fantastic, and it's not just the racing or the progression and skill that's very gratifying because it takes time and effort, but also this with other racers, it's a family, and you'll see people helping each other out. Uh, I my competitors and I work on each other's cars, so it's an absolutely fantastic group of individuals. What I wish I had known before I became a student was the amount of time and patience it takes in order to become good at what we do out here. Uh, your first day, you want to go out and prove how fast you are, which is the exact opposite attitude you need. So I would say I wish I had had a better attitude starting and realized that it was going to be a long journey instead of simply going out there and trying to run as fast. I absolutely think that anyone can come to an event like this and learn. And even if you're, no matter what age or gender or your background, if you've never driven a car before, it's excellent to come out here and get instruction, learn how to handle a car, learn how to react when the car starts sliding, learn what understeer is, learn what oversteer is. Um, and so I think for all skill levels, you can always learn, and that's true even in race group. Professional drivers use professional coaches, so you can always learn something out here. My favorite thing about coming out here is the camaraderie. While the racing is absolutely adrenaline surging, heart pumping, excitement at the end of the day, probably the most fun is actually after the race and getting together with everybody and talking about what happened in the race and giving each other a hard time. I would absolutely encourage anyone to come out and experience it, even if it's just going for a ride in a car, just to really see what a vehicle can do. Uh, it's a shocking to experience your first time with a dedicated good driver behind the wheel, just exactly what a vehicle can do. So I absolutely would encourage anyone to come out. I would say one last thing is again to stress what a family it is here at Pro Autosports, how fantastic the support is. I absolutely consider them family, and a lot of the people out here are my extended family.